Okay, I'm getting started with this. Once again, good evening, everyone. For the benefit of those that have just joined us, my name is Timothy Anete. I actually want to believe that we've met, or you probably have seen my video, seen my art in one way or the other. And I'm going to be taking you through this session. We are going to spend exactly 1 hour here to do what we're about to do. Confirm to me that you can see my screen, please. All right, so today I told you I was going to take you through how I was able to navigate from spending $2,000. It was actually a consulting project, all right, taking a company, a real estate company, from spending $2,000 with no property sales to spending lower and increasing results. We are not here to talk more of a story. I will go straight to the point on today's marketing analytics and the case study. What you should do, what didn't work, what we should have done, what we later did, and how you too can actually duplicate this same process and see how it works for you as well. So first and foremost, um, nobody has confirmed to me that you can see my screen. Please type. If you cannot unmute, type to let me know you can see my screen. Let me not be talking to myself. Okay, so here we have what you will learn today. So first and foremost, before I run you through down to the last slide on this, you will learn why more money in your ad budget does not guarantee more results. All right, the fact that you have more money does not guarantee more result in your ad campaigns. All right, secondly, how analytics was able to expose our wasted ad spend. This is actually one of the reasons why marketing analysis and analytics are very important when carrying out your marketing. All right, don't leave it to chance. You have to intentionally analyze your process. Thirdly, you will learn the exact differences we encountered while working with the failed $2,000 campaign and the successful one that we spent 200,000 naira monthly for the campaign for 90 days. All right, and then the last thing here will be the practical frameworks to scale profitably. All right, so you see, as someone who has experienced the ups and downs of this process, as a matter of fact, the blame is never on the ad platform. All right, you see, high budget is good, it's not the guarantee. All right, the fact that you have 2,000 budget and the other person has 200,000 budget does not mean that you have more result than him if you do not understand exactly what we're about to learn here. All right, so quickly, you see, in my earlier days in this business, a lot of people were introduced to hype. All right, most people will tell you, no, you see this place, if you buy it today it will become so. Those hypes actually worked in the past and probably may work in certain categories of buyers. When it comes to the aspect that we are focused on in this particular session, which has to do with the Nigerians in diaspora, hype don't work. You have to intentionally build real trust, not an illusion of you trust me now, I have been doing something, I have a digital blueprint. No. All right, there is nothing like fake screenshot. They will carry out their research and analysis. And then stop telling overnight success stories on your journey as well. All right, when you understand this, you know that what you are supposed to do is that you need to give real numbers. You have to share real mistakes in your journey. All right, you have to also share a real system that you have duplicated before and you can duplicate again. Now, we get into the main thing. What most realtors have been getting wrong from day one. All right? So pay attention from here. If you can, take your notes, take your paper and your notebook so that from tomorrow you know that you will not repeat exactly what I'm about to tell you not to do. You see, most realtors that I've worked with in the past were just running ads with flyer-like media kind of creative, all right? They run ads like flyers. They run ads like flyers, all right? So the company shares flyers of properties with you. You add it, immediately just take it straight to your platform, and then you kickstart your campaign. You start initiating your ad manager for Facebook ad and all of those. Primarily, that's what almost all the realtors that have complained of this thing doesn't work, that's what they have been doing in the past. They sell too early as well. Um, Let me share a bit of a story with you. I had a session with someone who told me he can just run ad easily on Facebook and get his sales going now. And the simple truth is that audiences differ. If you are going to sell to Nigerians in diaspora, you will know that you should not be making these mistakes. The first mistake we made back then was that we run ads like normal sharing of flyers and then click on boost post or even take it to ad managers. We start selling too early, all right? This property is going for 5 million naira. You have to act now before the price changes. You see, years ago you said Ekpe was far, you said Lekki was too far, you said Ikoyi. Those were the kind of mistakes that realtors were making. Now, presently, we have to understand that flyer-like ads, quick urgency in trying to sell, acting too desperate to sell, skipping educational approach, and then chasing cold leads and sending WhatsApp lead and chasing them with chat every day would make you feel like Facebook ad doesn't work, will make you feel like the economy has become too difficult. It will make you feel like ads to Nigerians in diaspora don't work. Now you need to sit back and understand that your approach ruined the entire effort, not the audience, not the platform. All right, what we understood and we did differently from what we thought was that at the earlier stage, our initial plan that gave us the mistake of burning $2,000 was that we thought that Nigerians in diaspora, that is Nigerians abroad, have more money. All right, so the expectation was that we could just give them an offer and they would just buy immediately. All we needed to do was just be able to gain access to Nigerians in diaspora, and then being that they have more money because of the exchange rate, they would just buy. So all we needed to do was to just go to Facebook, run our ad, or on Instagram, run our ad, and then get to Nigerians in diaspora and they would just come, all right, and buy. That was a big mistake. It doesn't work. It never worked, and it will not work for you either. All right, so now we took our lessons. When we took our lessons, we realized that what we did was entirely wrong. All right? All right, so we then decided that in the process, we can run direct sales ad so that we don't even get to talk to wrong people. Who wants to buy should buy. You know, I'm actually sharing with you the journey to discovering what works. You don't have to waste your own budget like we wasted. All right, so we thought, let's just do it a different way. Maybe the people we got were a wrong audience. We kept talking to the wrong people. So let's do it this way. Let's just run our direct ads to people, direct sales ad. If you are ready to buy, call this number. So we don't want to keep engaging with people who do not have money to buy. That was our assumption. Instead, that equally pushed us to consume our ad budget with no result. We also said, okay, maybe we should push buy land now messaging, all right, and send people to WhatsApp or Instagram messages. Maybe they don't like landing pages, all right. So still, many people sent messages and then nothing came up. At the end of the day, we also said maybe we have been posting every day now for the past 2 years. We've been posting as long as we started, and then they should know that we have a reputation in this business. Guess what? We assumed that we have built the right reputation for people we have just met. All right, our assumption was they must have known us. We have built for a long time, so they should trust us enough to just buy from us. It was a clear assumption that failed. All right, so the last one we assumed also was that let's send traffic straight to WhatsApp. Maybe Instagram did not work, maybe Messenger did not work. Let's try WhatsApp straight so that we can also use WhatsApp call on them. Guess what? At the end of the day, we burned $2,000 with 0 sales. All right, it was enough to frustrate us to actually not continue it again, but that was not the end goal. We have properties to sell. We must do something that will guarantee that we eventually sell it. So we kept testing. So the real problem was that at the end of the day, we discovered that the problem was not the property we were selling. We had very good property in choice location. The problem was not the price. The problem was not even the country we targeted. All right, because most people would say Nigerians in the UK don't have money. So the problem was not even the country we targeted. The real problem that we eventually discovered was that we were asking for a sale before earning their trust. We became too desperate, asked for sales too fast without gaining trust. So we, at that point, decided that, look, these people have no problem. Let's go and work on our sales system. And that's when everything changed. And this is why I decided to do this for you in January, so that if you understand this, the rest of the month in 2026 would be very rewarding for you and your business. So now, what did we eventually do that changed the trajectory of our business? We found out that Nigerians in diaspora think differently. All right. The first thing we discovered was that they are different from Nigerians in Nigeria. The fact that they are Nigerians does not mean that their orientation is actually the same. All right, so when we discovered that they think differently, what we did was that we knew they were going to ask, is this real? So the problem is, the moment we allow them to ask, is this real, we have created that suspicion already. So we needed to cover the suspicion before it was asked. So we assumed the questions that could prompt them to ask, is this real? And then in the process of our campaign, we decided that we were not going to sell properties. We were going to educate our audience. All right, so we took note of their most important question, suspicion, is this real? And then we knew that these people do not want to be the first to experiment. So they usually want to know who has bought from you before from Nigerians in diaspora. So they want to know, has anyone in UK, has anyone in Canada, has anyone in any of these countries taken a risk of buying from you before, or you are just trying to use us or use me as the first person to take this kind of risk. So they needed you to showcase social proof before they ask. So the moment you wait for them to ask, has anybody bought from you before, it therefore means that your homework was not rightly done. You are waiting for them to tell you what you should have done, which means that you are now acting defensive. So, and suspiciously, people who act defensive are seen as desperate people. All right, so in essence, they ought to have seen that, oh, these people have actually been in existence for a while. Their property has a lot of verification processes. Oh, these people have bought from them as well. Maybe they are worth talking to. So these are things they ought to have known. All right, so we discovered that they have a question of what if something goes wrong. So they want to know, do you by any means offer a security guarantee to them? In the process, they are buying from someone they assume as strangers. If something goes wrong, who do we hold accountable? Or how can you help us to recover? Or how can you help us to get off this hook? Don't assume that they do not actually know what has been going on in the Nigerian the real estate business sector. The likes of the stories we've heard, how people sell receipts, they are privy to the information. So you waiting for them to come ask you of those information, how you are going to protect them, keeps you at a disadvantage. So the expectation is that you should offer them this guarantee before they get to ask you. So the moment we found out this, we built a bridge. All right, how do I verify this from abroad? So they knew that they cannot come for physical inspection. How are you going to be able to hold them and their confidence? All right, so they do not buy on impulse. You don't expect them to see your property now and then ask you for account. They don't do impulse buying, and then you must uphold their confidence. All right, so in the process, when we understood all of this, we went back and restructured the system. The first thing we did was that we changed our entire campaign process. We stopped selling properties. The first thing we did was to stop selling properties, and then we started selling clarity, trusts, and education. So those are the three important elements that would help you to sell to Nigerians in diaspora. Not your unique ability to target Nigerians in diaspora through Facebook and Instagram. Not your skilled Facebook ads. Not how skillful your lead generation is. No. You must understand that your system and your approach must be on clarity, on trust, and on education enhancement. So whatever you are going to be doing, this single shift will change everything about your approach in selling to Nigerians in diaspora. This is exactly where our entire wasted effort ended, and we started getting sales. Stay on. There is something very important about I will reveal to you in the process. If you can, please don't disconnect. You see, the new system overhauled the entire one. Instead of us selling land directly, we went back and built a 3-step system approach. The first step we built was educate first. All right? So we started by running campaigns on how Nigerians in diaspora who bought properties in Lagos in 2023 are still yet to gain allocation in certain companies they bought. Of course, you don't have to mention any company's name. So what we are trying to do is that you have understood that Nigerians in diaspora are not looking for people who sell properties. They are looking for people who are going to help them avoid getting scammed. So they are looking for educationists in real estate sector. So you are here letting them understand that, look, you are not, and you will never lie to them that Nigerians abroad who bought properties in Nigeria did not lose it. Between 2021 to 2023, a lot of people who bought properties in Lagos, in Abuja, most of them are yet to to be allocated their properties. The reason is not that they did not pay, but because these are the mistakes they made while trying to buy properties while living abroad. So apparently you have immediately positioned yourself as a messiah who is not out to sell, but out to help Nigerians who are trying to invest back home to avoid getting scammed. And then another thing is that, look, your property will be demolished irrespective of where you build in Nigeria if you do not first and foremost confirm that that location you are buying carries this information or carries this document or carries this verification. So as a skilled and a professional real estate professional, realtor or developer, you know what a property is required of the developer before he can build there. So you are using the opportunity to educate. So we started running campaigns that educate them, and then the campaign did not go void. I'm going to reveal the last system process to you. Now the second one was that we built trust as the second option. All right, while we educated, we subjected ourselves as a trusted process, more like a bridge to where they can buy. So we projected as people who carry out property verification, not that we make property recommendation only. We do not we were not out there saying we have a property at Ibeju, we have a property at NTA Road in Port Harcourt, we have a property at Gwagwalada in Abuja, we have a property at somewhere in Asaba, no, or somewhere in Enugu. We were not doing that. What we did was that we were not making any property recommendation. We were confidently building on their trusts, all right, and then leaving them to get in touch with us on the kind of property interest they have. So we went ahead rather to interview them on the investment interest they have. Because primarily real estate has different areas, like we have the commercial investment aspect and we have the private investment aspect. So we asked, what is your investment interest? And then when they told us, we went further to educate them on why this aspect of commercial investment does not work again in Nigeria, and why this aspect is what you can recommend to them, and why you ask them to focus on that aspect. So they saw us not just as a desperate company who wants to sell property, but as a trusted brand trying to help a Nigerian abroad to make a wise investment decision back home. So at that point, we were never selling properties. We were consistently selling education, trusts, and eventually we were able to offer them what they needed. So the last part is what we did ourselves, all right? When we made recommendation, we analyzed on the benefits, all right? So simple, powerful system is that you build first and sell last, all right? Educate, sell trust, and then sell property last, all right? That's the simple but powerful process that changed everything about us. So then the important question would be, how do you consistently build your educational process and then the trust building process before you can sell last? We have a system, all right? Because you see, all this cannot be manually done. If you decide to go through it in a manual process, at the end of the day, you are going to waste a lot of effort. You are going to also be undermined, all right? So what you need to intentionally do here is that you have to establish your system that can function while you are out there sourcing for more leads. So first, the education aspect is that your campaign, your ads, is no more your ad creative that has your property for sale. So it can come in your short 1-minute educational video, and then you run your campaign. So what we did was that we told a story. So I told you earlier on, share a story of how the Nigerians abroad bought and still can't get allocation. So we shared a story, all right, addressed their fears in the process of running that educational campaign, all right, then explained how buying land from abroad works, all right. And then the last aspect we did was that we did not just educate and leave them, we created a process of capturing the lead. All right, so when they come in, we gained not just people who were desperate for getting into our lead system. What we gained was high intent lead, higher engagement in the campaign, because they wanted to ask more questions. Okay, so you mean people who bought even in 2021 are still not allocated? So how can people avoid this kind of a thing? If you want to buy, how can I avoid getting in this kind of a situation? This is exactly how the people we targeted saw us as a go-to brand that they can truly trust. So they understood that we know their fears. They understood that we have given them a laid down process to buy from abroad and be secured. And then they gave us their lead willingly. They gave us their details willingly, and they came into our pipeline, which eventually led us to our consistent webinar, still not selling yet. All right, they came in through our 1 minute educational video that went in as our Instagram and Facebook ad. All right, they went on to that, engaged, asked more questions in the comments, and still came into our system. So we created a trust engine. So the trust engine here was our system of conversion. The first thing was that the moment they submitted their lead, we have a pre-recorded webinar. All right, the pre-recorded webinar helped them to watch the entire process of how they can invest from their location in any of the countries they are abroad in Nigeria without burning their fingers. We analyzed the property documents that they must ask of the particular company they are buying from. And then presently in Nigeria, we told them location that they should avoid buying property from if they do not want to lose it. And then we also shared with them, if you are investing in commercial property, these are the aspects of commercial investment that you should consider. For private property, if you are not building immediately, this is what I advise that you do the moment you buy that property. So we made that video, recorded as our webinar, all right? Took all the important questions that we knew they were going to ask, and then gave answers to them in the webinar. And the webinar became an automated process. They submit their lead, they get immediately redirected to the webinar page. And for everyone who came in through our educational video ad, got to where we have our webinar projected, they watched the webinar, and after the webinar, we gave them the proof and process breakdown. The proof was that people like him have equally come through this process, but went through this system, and also their property is secured. And this was the day we sent their documents through DHL to them in the country of their location. And this is so exactly the process that we know they were going to ask question about, we gave them in the webinar breakdown. And after they have watched the webinar breakdown, what followed was this proof and process. So the third thing was that we knew that transparency was very important, all right? And then the risks involved in buying in Nigeria while living abroad, we were very transparent with them. They love people who are very transparent, who are very sincere, telling them the truth. So you have to be very open-minded. Don't try to sugarcoat. Don't try to hype your process. Don't try to tell yourself that you can never run into trouble. Let them know that if you do, you have a laid down process. Be transparent. All right. So the next thing was that we gave clear answers to all the important objections. Right, like already, if you have seen my YouTube video, you know I have listed, I made a recording of all the sales objections that you have to take note of while trying to sell properties. So you can go to my YouTube channel, the name still Timothy Anetie, and you will see that sales objection for realtors. All right, so take note of it and give answers to them as well. You see, this process builds trust. All right, trust was built before price was even mentioned in all of this. So none of them was asked to buy. If you take note of the process we've gone in here, we educated through our ad campaign. All right, we were not selling properties, we were educating them. All right, they came in, submitted the lead, and then the next thing was that they landed on our pre-recorded webinar, which was already systemized, automated. This is why automation is very important for realtors. All right, they came in, went to the webinar, watched it, saw all the breakdown and all of those, and then the next process was that we made a smart conversion approach. All right, so after trust has been built, we introduced the properties. All right, so at this point we have been able to effectively understand their interest, where they are investing in, because you see, one of the problems you have as a realtor is that you met someone now, a Nigerian in diaspora, because with your assumption, you assume that every one of them are multi-millionaire, they can afford property of 20, 50 million. So the first property you introduce to them is a property of 50 million. And then you don't hear any feedback from them. You're like, these people, this one is not a serious buyer. But the sincere truth is that you ought to have known what they have in mind and their budget. So after we have built trust, we have equally been able to establish their interests. We have decided, we have known their budgets. All right, so we introduce properties based on individual interests and budgets. Thank you. All right, so as I was saying, what we did after that was that we went straight up and then recommended property based on their exact interests. We did not start broadcasting general properties. This one interest is on this, and his budget falls into this particular property location. So in that case, this is exactly the property that suits his kind of interest. So you recommend that one. So you do not use just one property for everybody. All right. So the second thing is that we shared a payment structure. The fact that they are in diaspora doesn't mean that they can buy outrightly. So at this point, if you have been able to, this is why I say it every time as a realtor, even despite the fact that you are affiliated with a company, what I want you to do, if your company does not have a payment structure, create a payment structure and make sure that you have a registered company. All right, because the Nigerian in diaspora can tell you that he wants to pay in 3 or 4 installments. All right, let them know that, yeah, as long as they pay within 6 months, that you are fine, because the property is fast selling. You will not be able to guarantee them that it will be there after 6 months, but still you have an opened payment structure that allows them to pay 50% or a minimum of 30% first, and then another 30%, and then close it up with maybe the last 40%, or 30, 30, 30, 20, whichever one works for you. All right, so but one of the things I need you to understand is that you do not need to work because your company says no payment by installments, the company you are selling for, and then you also tell the diaspora clients, no, you have to pay once. You have a company, they can pay into it, you keep the money. The moment they complete paying, you help them to buy from your company and then still gain from the company you are affiliating with and still gain your commission. All right, so that's how it works. Create a structure. That's actually how we did it, and we were able to make those number of sales. All right, show allocation and documentation process. You cannot be calling for sales when you do not let them understand that after payment, this is how your allocation is going to be done. This is how your documentation process is. All right, and then offer guided buying support. These were the things we did. We did not stand as salesmen. We stood as people who were actually investment advisors to the Nigerians in diaspora, who were actually there to protect Nigerians in diaspora from wrong investment in Nigeria. No pressure, no chasing, all right? All we did was carry out an effective system of education, trust building, and eventual smart conversion process. And this worked for us, and it works. It will work for anyone who sells trust needed products. Most importantly, our focus here being realtors. All right, so take notes and then start implementing exactly what I'm sharing with you. Look, this free webinar we are having is actually a corporate paid session that most of the trainings you've gone for. Most of the paid training you've gone for, and that they gave you sales motivation. They just tell you you have to keep posting, you have to keep prospecting, you have to keep showing up. These are things you know, but what I'm sharing with you are real practical approaches that has been implemented and result was seen. If you agree with me, let me see your high. Okay, so we measured our result at the end of the day. All right, we measured our result at the end of the day. So what we did at that point was that in 90 days, we got 21 plus plots. Now, we did not sell this plot because our ad budget was low or because our ad budget was high. We were able to sell this plot because our structure and sales system improved. All right, even with lesser ad budget, more interest came in because we were not desperately trying to sell. So the audience, the Nigerians in diaspora, started seeing us as people who had their interest at heart, not people who were coming for their money. So that was the difference that it made. They saw us as people who were not coming for their money, but people who have their interest at heart. All right? So we spent less and then we sold more. Same market, all right? Same diaspora audience, but different system. So this is exactly why this worked for us, and this is exactly why it will work for you, all right? One of the reasons why this worked for us was because we respected the buyer's mindset. We went back to study how they think. We went back to find out how their mind is structured. All right? We removed fear before selling. So apparently, every Nigerian in diaspora sees an average Nigerian in Nigeria as someone who is out there to scam them, to take advantage of them. I think that's the right word. To take advantage with them and of them, and with the porous real estate market at the moment. Trust me, what most companies have done is actually ruining the market. See, what we sold in 2023, 2024 was nothing compared to what we sold what we sold in 2025 rather was nothing compared to what we sold in 2023, 2024. People became too scared in 2024, not because there was no money again. As a matter of fact, it was because most real estate companies have ruined trusts. All right, so and you trying to sell using the same process that worked for you in 2023 and 2024, you will struggle. So we understood that we needed to remove their fears. So we did everything I had highlighted to you earlier on. And then we positioned ourselves as experts and not desperate sellers. We were not out there showcasing as people who really needed their money desperately. All right? We let buyers decide confidently. We were not pushy. Like I said, you have to learn to study and accept what the client needs. You don't have to be pushy about your own recommendation. If he says this is the property, kind of property he wants, what you tell them is, oh, perfect. Actually, this property at this location suits your interest. This is why I said so. According to your investment choice, you are investing for a short-let apartment, for example. And for short-let apartments, you need security, you need basic amenities around the environment, and most importantly, electricity and good roads. Even if you are going to supplement it with solar system, you still need stable electricity. At the same time, good road networks and good water. And you see, this location I have actually recommended to you is one of the best location that would guarantee this success in your investment. What you've done there, you will not say, no, you should buy here now, forget it. See, this place will develop, oh, just buy here and wait now. You've killed yourselves, you've killed your chance at selling to them, all right? So don't do that. Don't do that. Work on their interest and make the recommendation based on their interest. All right, and then allow them to make the decision. All right, don't give them a lot of gap, but let them also be the one to make decision. All right, as realtors or developers, this system can also be replicated. All right, you can replicate this system. Now, yes, only if you decide right here and now that you will stop rushing the sales, all right, that you would also use the right messaging, that you would also follow the structure and then track the right metrics. You don't have to be too emotional to your approach. The fact that you have been running ad to WhatsApp, it doesn't, and maybe once in 3 months you sell one property, doesn't mean that you should stick to it. This is new year. Selling one property in 3 months in an economy that you are taxed massively will not sustain you. Before you sell one again in another 3 months, you have finished eating the one you got earlier on, the commission you got in the last 3 months. You cannot sustain your business that way. At least, poor as it may be, you should be able to do at least 2 in a month, 2 properties every month for the least. All right, so how do you do this? Take note of the structure, take note of the approach I had just highlighted to you. Watch the metrics and then duplicate the exact same thing that I shared there with you and work with it. And also, let's practicalize this. Let me help you practically to set up this in a live boot camp. Either you are attending the physical session in Lagos or you are joining the online session for 2 days. All right, 2 days, 30th and 31st of January. If you are willing to be a part of that, look at the phone number here. It will also be sent to the group actually after this. You can join us in this paid session for 2 days. It's not a 1 day because I know you cannot achieve this in 1 day. It's a 2-day session that you would really need to effectively implement this and be able to gain your result. All right, automation is important in this journey, and your marketing is beyond posting. So let's get it right as the year begins. So now, please go ahead and ask me your question. You see, selling to Nigerians in diaspora is not harder. It just requires the right system. All right, selling to Nigerians in diaspora is not hard. It's not as hard as you have been made to know. But you are going to waste your ad budget if the only thing you know how to do is to run ad. All right, your system, your sales process, your approach is very important. All right, and then in all of this, you need to know that system would always outsell effort. All right, I will be willing to take your question. Thank you for spending 1 hour with me so far in this free webinar. I'm very sure you learned something. Please unmute and ask your question. Please unmute and ask your question. Please unmute and ask your question, or you can type in the question if you don't want to say it with. All right, I'm assuming that okay, it already blocks her. Oh, sorry. Um, I'm going to give you access to that now. Okay, please unmute now. Sorry, unmute now. You have been given the access to unmute.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Joel.
Thank you so much, sir. I was on transit, so I wasn't able to pick so much. Okay, but what I picked was the system part, which was amazing.
Okay.
So regarding the training, I'll be happening on January 24th. The 2 days, right? Is it free? And another thing is, what I gained for the short period of time I spent was the fact that you were not just talking to people, you did some webinar which made them, look into your property. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So I don't know if you can just probably summarize everything again because I was on transit. So, but pertaining to that January 2 days program, is the training free or are we going to pay some amount of money?
Yeah, the training is not free. But okay, so this is it. The physical session for 2 days in Lagos is actually 120,000 naira. Um,
When will you
Yaba, Lagos, Yaba. And
okay, about
yeah, Yaba. And then the online session is 45,000. But by virtue of the fact that you are connected in this session, anybody that has interest and has attended this webinar, please chat that number this evening. You can have up to 20% discount.
okay, sir.
All
But where
right.
is the number? Is the number on the message? Because I'm not seeing any number here.
Yeah, it will equally be sent in the group as well. That's the number there.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah. So at the same time, the recording will be shared later. So there is no need of refreshing. I mean, going back on what we have done again. You can watch the
Oh,
recording when you are settled.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, please?
Yeah, there is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to know regarding the adverts that you ran to the diasporians. What channel is it? Because all through that I was listening, it's like I came in halfway. I didn't get to hear of the channel you use in running that advert. Okay, I'm aware of the second thing, the training. But
Okay, so
I didn't get the time of the training. When, as in I know the dates, but the time.
all right. For the physical session, start 9 a.m. every day. 9 a.m. for the 2 days, each day. And it's not a 2 hour, 3 hour session. It's a complete 9 hour daily sessions. Please
Will
wait.
there be item 7? This one that is 9
Yes,
hours.
yes, there will be. So you'll
Okay.
be given breakfast and lunch.
Are there tools, marketing tools that will be given to us since this is a practical session?
It's
And most
definitely a
likely,
practical session. So in the process, you are implementing. So we are not doing go and use this. We are doing do this here, do this here. So we are implementing right in the training room. That's why it's for 2 days. So you are going to be given access to the tools.
okay now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So any other
Hello.
question? Yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
good evening. Yeah. I thank you so much for the presentation. I just wanted to know a little more about the accounting system, rather the system of payment in a situation where the companies you represent does not have a system that is workable for diaspora sales.
Right. Please rephrase your question so I can get it right.
All right. When you were talking, you mentioned that if you one of the things you mentioned that we need to put in place is a payment system.
Yes.
So so now I'm asking, in a situation where probably the company you partner with or you work with does not have.
So you create, that's what I'm saying. You use your own company's account and receive payment.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. All right. So I'll see you in group, and my personal assistant will also follow up with those that are interested in this, in the physical or online paid boot camp. All right. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. See you in the group.
Thank you.